in case. Right.
Yeah. All right. I threw this on the air just so we can get that started.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, it's not like you get a lot of sleep, right? Came from?
Everybody here? Can we be heard?
I'm
Yeah.
here.
I'm here. Chat
I'm
room,
asking the chat.
check. All right.
Hold on a second. Something smells like fire.
All right.
Okay.
That's a good way to start a podcast. It's not a good way to start a podcast, honestly.
Well, I mean, hopefully it just smells like fire, and that
Yeah.
there's nothing actually on fire.
Right? All right. See us live? Okay. We're good when she gets back.
Okay, the fire is not in my apartment. It is... Yeah, so that's all that matters.
Is there a actual fire nearby?
Not that I can see, and... Yeah, none of the alarms are going off, so...
Well, I
But
guess
it's Southern
you must-
California, something's on fire.
Right.
Yeah, I'm thinking what's going on is one of my neighbors has an illegal barbecue, and they're using it.
Gotcha. Okay. We are good. We're live.
Awesome!
Whenever
Hi,
you
chat
want.
room! Alright, so we ready to do this?
We're
Alright.
in several fingers. Go.
In several fingers go? Okay, so
Yes.
in 3, 2, 1. On this episode of the AIE Podcast,
We have a new Guildie of the Month.
Children's Week is easier with friends.
Totally. May the 4th is with the Amazing Race.
Heavensward Benchmark is now available.
Hoots is here to give us all of the exciting news about AIE in EVE Online.
All that and more coming up right now.
Bringing you the latest news from the AIE gaming community
From planet Earth and beyond!
This is the AIE Podcast.
Awesome. That intro just made me miss Zod again. But welcome to episode number 232 of the podcast celebrating the LA Octa S gaming community, the Die Has Been podcast. This is not Tetsemi. So, but to
Sorry.
my left totally is Tetsemi.
Hi, I love raid math.
And I'm a Ludra, and I think you're awesome. Miguel is off today, either making a mess in the guild kitchen, or getting a new tattoo, or possibly...
Or both.
Yeah, probably both.
So
But,
getting a new tattoo in the guild kitchen?
yeah,
It's possible. It's a big,
yeah,
big
that sounds very likely, actually. So, you know, we're Horde. It all works out.
It's a one-stop shop, yeah.
Cleanest place in the guild house. This week, as you just heard, we are joined by our special guest, Hoots, who's here to talk about AIE in EVE Online. Welcome, Hoots!
Hello.
Man, the biggest sandbox in the universe happens to be the universe, and you're in charge of all that, and so I'm sure it's going to be an amazing show.
You know what? So I'm in charge, at least in charge in air quotes, of the AIE branch of Eve, and what that means is I get to act like the janitor of the Eve online universe.
Well, that's all really any officer is in AIE. Everybody thinks it's a glamorous job. No, we're janitors. Like,
no, and it's pretty much, I think the tagline among the officer group is diplomatic incidents mean content for Hoots.
yeah,
So that's pretty much it.
yeah, that's pretty
Hoots
accurate,
sits down, looks through
actually.
his kill mails and goes, yeah, Hoots sits down, looks through the kill mail and goes, okay, what am I going to have to do this week?
What sort of letter am I going to have to draft? Who am I going to have to pay?
Exactly.
What am I going to have to do? What has gone wrong?
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's great. It's fun. I love it.
That is so awesome. At least you enjoy being the space janitor. I mean, if you gotta be a space janitor, you might as well enjoy the heck out of it, right?
Also, it's a space janitor. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Right? You put space in front of everything. It's awesome. So, Hoots, what have you been up to in or out of game?
So, and we'll start actually outside of Eve. Gosh, it must have been a month ago now, that a little game came out called City Skylines. And if you haven't gotten it, it's pretty amazing.
I want it. I really do. It looks pretty awesome.
So
But-
it is everything that the latest SimCity should have been. It is incredible. Except I like my city. Traffic flow in City Skyline is kind of something that you need to be really concerned with. And unfortunately for the residents of my fictitious city in City Skylines, all the roads are one-way roads to maximize traffic flow. So it's gotta be an actual nightmare to live there because everything is a one-way street. But traffic is
And let
really
me guess,
great.
no U-turns allowed ever, right?
No, never. There are roundabouts. There are lots of roundabouts. Boy, do I love
But no U-turns.
roundabouts.
Oh, that's
But
evil.
U-turns, no bueno. Nope.
Oh.
You are not going to interfere with traffic. No, you aren't. Mm-mm.
Awesome.
I am a part of traffic, and I need to U-turn now and then on a million one-way streets. This is diabolical. When people ask what's the most evil thing you've ever heard of somebody doing in a video game from now on, I'm going to say Sims Skylines, all one-way streets, all roundabouts, no U-turns. And I guarantee I'll win all the contests from now on.
It's got to be at least on par with if you've ever played The Sims and gotten them in a swimming pool and then just deleted the ladder. That's
It's worse. That's worse than Sims Survivor, where you put them in a room with a glass of lemonade and go, okay, this is it, enjoy. Let's see how insane you go. No, that's even more evil because these people are just trying to get to work or get home to their families and then enter you and your evilness. The Hoots Expressway is not an expressway, and so not think it's.
I need to make a left turn. Sorry, you got to make 4 rights.
You know what? The traffic must flow and must keep flowing. No congestion in my city.
Yeah, no congestion, but nobody can get to where they want to be.
Minor details.
Yeah. Little did Joe Sim know that when he left his house, he would never be seeing his family again.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. What about you, Tetsumi? What have you been up to in this wide, wide world of gaming?
But tons of stuff. I actually logged into Eve, and I will let Hoots talk about Eve when we get to this section, but I have a funny story because I logged in just to see where did I last log out, and I logged in and I'm in Fountain, and I'm in a starbase. I'm like, okay, this is good. As long as I don't undock, I think I'm safe. Wait. It says red for the alliance. I'm like, okay, so that means they don't like me. So I popped into Mumble, and I asked Stu and the guys. I said, so I'm in Fountain in 6 VDT.
Oh no!
And they're like, Are you corped? And I said, no. They said, well, that's good, but that's good and bad. They said, don't undock. Get yourself back in the corp, and you're fine, because that's actually in friendly alliance space. You've actually been gone long enough that we've completely left Fountain, went all out, had adventures, and then came back and took Fountain back over. And I went, oh.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'll get to that in the Eve section, but that's pretty much exactly it.
Wow, jeez. You have been gone for so long, they cycled.
Exactly. Everything, everything's cycle of life, so, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did some raiding in WoW, and got our standard 3 bosses down in Blackrock Foundry. We're going to work on a new strategy for the Roly guy, Ore Gorger, who likes to eat ore and roll over people. And hopefully also work on Flamebinder tonight. But that's about it. Work's been kicking my butt, so it's mainly been logging in. Not completely forgot, but we took last week off because we did the AIE Craft Fair in WoW. And so McCullough and I and Shoujo did jewel crafting in there.
I heard it was a record turnout.
Yeah, record low. No, there was not a lot of, I don't want to say participation because that sounds bad, but we helped the people that showed up, which is what happened. But Blizzard really, and we'll get to that next time we do a WoW podcast, Blizzard has killed crafting. It's just bad.
It's not that they killed crafting. I think that they killed the craft fair.
They killed the need for the craft fair because people can level up, on their own. But honestly, I prefer to think of it as they killed crafting because most people are just like, oh, I need a jewel crafter. Okay, I'll just boost an alt to 90. Oh, look, they've got 600 jewel crafting. Okay, I'm good.
Or you can just do it in your garrison and you can do the high-end stuff from level 1 now, which is awesome. Exactly. I think all crafting needs to be able to be like, oh, okay, yeah, you can make the relevant stuff because that's really what you need to be making.
So, that kind of took a bit of time, but that's about it. What have you been up to?
Okay, so I have had a super fun week. In gaming, first off, I've been playing the heck out of Story of Seasons, which is a Harvest Moon type game, which means, yes, Eludra's digging in the dirt again, but it's all good because I am farming, and all the guys in town seem to really like me, but it helps that I'm winning every single contest I try to be in, so of course I'm the most popular farmer ever, and they all like me, and it's like, whatever. Because, I don't know, I'm not ready to settle down in my Harvest Moon game just yet. Nope. Insert Wild Oats joke here because that seems oddly appropriate. Let's see, you went over the WoW stuff, but the WoW token is really a godsend for me. First off, my friends sometimes send me gold. Like, this week Sky sent me a bit of gold and was like, here, you're having a hard time with things, so play WoW. And so now I'm up to a bunch of months just already paid for with WoW. The game has gone free to play, guys. Seriously. It really has. It's not hard to earn that much gold. I earned enough for another month just by logging in out of raid once or twice a day and doing my garrison stuff. Thank you, treasure finding guys.
About 17,000 gold?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you imagine that?
At least in the North American realm.
Yeah,
Have you seen the prices over in China?
Yeah, I have, and I'm glad I live in North America again.
Yeah, I don't know, Hoots, if you've been following it since they adopted the Eve Plex system, essentially.
I've been a little bit, just because obviously it's so close to a Plex system that I've been kind of following it a little bit. I haven't been following the prices, though, and even if I have, I've been out of WoW for so long that I don't know what a realistic price point is.
Okay, well, it's cheap.
Okay.
It's cheap. Yeah, you can earn a token a week if you just...
Yeah, so North America, it bounces between about 17 to 23,000 gold. Europe is, I think, averaging around 35,000 gold, and China is averaging around 75,000 gold because they have the tokens different in each region, but it's one price for the entire region. So no matter which server you're on, if you bought the token, you're going to get that amount of gold when someone buys it off the server. So
gotcha.
Yeah, I'm really scared people are going to stop buying these tokens, and I don't want them to
the
stop.
price will go up.
Yeah, I know.
Also, I remember we have kind of a blogger on the Eve side of things, Nosy Gamer, who does a lot of analysis about RMT pricing and
Right.
buying kind of the illicit like gold trade or ISK trade in Eve. And part of Blizzard's objective is to hurt gold sellers, because you want to be able to sell like one of these tokens and get more gold than you would just be able to go to like a shady gold selling site and buy gold there, and gold on shady gold selling sites is really cheap right now too, so that I think is part of it.
It really drove the prices down. It's really funny. Other than that, I've been playing some Cat Girls because, as most of you guys know, I'm unemployed, so I can play 2 MMOs and Harvest Moon. And and so I got my 3rd Soul Gem, which means I have my 3rd advanced class, so I can be a Dragoon, which is awesome and kind of fun, but it's not really my favorite. And then I'm a Ninja, which is pretty fun. That means I get to kick you in the face, which, come on. Everybody wants to kick people in the face, especially in video games. And then I'm a monk, which means I get to punch you in the face, which is sometimes even more satisfying than kicking you in the face. So I've really got the variety pack going, everybody. It's pretty awesome. And then yesterday I got to visit a new little baby Xander. Hi, little baby Xander. He's the son of Mew and Jen, our Punky Brewer, sorry. And the baby's awesome, and they are awesome, and yes, tiny babies make me squee, and so I'm very happy.
Very cool.
Yeah, I know. I've been all busy with not much. But visiting the baby was awesome because my friends are having babies now, and that's so freaking awesome. Yours is grown up, and so you get to see your friends.
Exactly.
Yeah, life is awesome sometimes. Okay. So, let's see. What is this? The cycle is complete?
Oh, that was what we covered
Oh,
earlier.
those are your notes about what you want to go over. Okay. I was like,
Yep.
That's odd. Okay, but we'll be digging into Eve shortly and talking more about Tets's cycle. But first, let's cover this week's news.
Ah. So I'm
I like that song, though. That is a good song.
I know.
AIE News.
All right, so as you heard at the top of the show, we have a new Guildie of the Month. North Icer, a.k.a. Razzie, and Kroka is a beacon of what AIEU represents and stands for. So how bad did I mingle that name there, Hoots?
You know what? I've always pronounced it North Isir. I could be
Isir?
wrong, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. I love video games and stuff
We
and the
call him
creativity.
North, and he's
North is awesome. North and Razzie, they're awesome. They help new members get settled and help others when any questions they may have. North has really shown himself to be a stand-up member of the community and is taken to exploration in Eve and always jumps on to help others out when they need it. Congratulations, North, on being our Guildie of the Month and just being a stand-up person that we want to celebrate. So if you want to nominate somebody for Guildie of the Month, send an email to gotm@aie-guild.org with the name of the person you're nominating in the subject line. Nominations for June's Guildie of the Month will be accepted until May 12, 2015. This is a community-wide program. Nominations will be accepted for members from any game division, and I think I want to throw somebody's name in the ring, so I'm going to be emailing myself, not like me myself, but sending an email personally to try and get somebody nominated because seriously, lately everybody has been so great in AIE and I just want to hug you all.
Awesome. And speaking of other games in WoW, last weekend was the Spring Craft Fair, as we mentioned, and by all accounts, over 60 guild members benefited from the organizing, gathering, hair pulling, and general chaos that is AIE taking over Silvermoon City and actually making it a popular city for once in a while.
Oh my gosh, okay. Think about this. Think about this, though. 60 people were helped. All-time low. Jeez, guys. Think about that. We helped 60 people, which is no small number, but all-time low.
Yep. And that's just due to changes in the game. It happens.
Yeah, but that's just crazy to think about, that 60 could be seen as such a small number.
I know, right? And also, they did a coup afterwards on Saturday, because you can't have a craft fair without a coup. And then they had the wrap-up party and raffle giveaways actually happening right now at Gallywix's place. So thank you to everyone who volunteered. The craft fair is a perfect example of what makes AIE great. And this just in, Tinchel, AIE's self-declared oldest member, set up Gellis's Daily Barbecue and Beer Company. How's that for RP? As a new member of AIE, or any AIE member for that matter, all you need to do is post a reply on the forums or drop Gellis a reservation request in the mail, and they will arrange to come and get you wherever you are in Azeroth. They will portal you to Half Hill, where they will hand you the ingredients you need to begin cooking without even making one single slice of spiced bread. Blah. Stuff tastes terrible anyhow. In no time at all, you reach cooking level 525, and if you're at least level 85, then we can get you to cooking level 600 and the title of Master of the Ways. Oh, and I almost forgot the beer part. We'll also get you a 6-pack of Dark Brew Lager to go. Such a deal.
Wow!
I know, right? There's a forum link to a forum post, use the forums, in the show notes. Also,
that is so awesome.
Children's Week. I know. It's the end of Children's Week, actually. I think it's coming to the end, which can be frustrating for PvPers and non-PvPers alike. With this in mind, AI members are hard at work helping fellow guildies get one step closer to the Long Strange Trip achievement. There's an email coming from Nevermore, and as soon as I get that, I will paste in the names of everyone that's been helping out and volunteering with that.
Awesome. Yeah, the PvP thing. I remember a couple years ago, I publicly denounced Zod on this show and dragged him into one single Children's Week PvP match and got him the Drake. Like, he only needed the one. And I was like, really, dude? You just gave up? You just need one? Took us 10 minutes. The fact that so many people are banding together to get everybody the Drake like this is just awesome. All right, so in Final Fantasy, Abavan wants to know, with Heavensward quickly approaching, what goals do you personally have before we all head to the snowy north? Yeah, that's right, pack away your sandals, guys. We're going somewhere really cold. Get involved in the conversation in-game or on the forum. Also, the Final Fantasy XIV team has announced that the new expansion is coming in June. The Heavensward benchmark, including the AU and RA. That has a weird space, but it's the new Dragon People character creation is now available, and I've downloaded it, and it's very cool, and I enjoy it. So, yay, Dragon People! Go check it out on the forums. All the chatter going on over there, and get yourself a benchmark.
Very nice. And in Star Wars The Old Republic, speaking of other space games, just in time for May the 4th, The Amazing Race is coming. There will be a special event on May the 4th to determine contestants, and then start the race on Tuesday the 5th at 9 p.m. server time, running for 5 weeks total. The focus will be on level 60 Republic non-AIE guildies this time around. Pell is looking for volunteers the night of the race in the form of AIE guildies. Since this event will involve a lot of travel, level 60 tunes are suggested. Keep an eye in-game on the forums or ask Pell if you have any questions. Also coming up, Patch 3.2 is coming up. There's a link to a forum topic on that. And as a note, it says a level cap of 60, which is included with the purchase of the latest story expansion, Shadow of Revan, is required to access the new storyline and the planet of Ziost in the Game 3.2 update. Lead the battle against Revan, one of the galaxy's most powerful characters, and experience five new levels of story-driven Star Wars adventure. From the Star Wars site, confront the Sith Emperor. Obsessed with achieving immortality, the Sith Emperor has targeted his own former subjects, God, I got forms on the brains, former subjects on the planet Ziost, with every death seemingly extending his dark powers. Speaking through those he's possessed, he controls powerful pawns like Master Suro, the leader of the team of elite militarized Jedi known as the Sixth Line. Join forces with Lana and Theron. As the Sith Emperor gradually dominates the free will of everyone on Zioth, both Lana Beniko, minister of the newly formed Sith intelligence, and Theron Shan, a spy for the Galactic Republic, are trying to stop the chaos. Your leadership is guiding them through the conflict on Ziost. It's critical to uncovering the former Sith Emperor's terrifying plan. And finally, to discover the Imperial world of Ziost. Known as the gateway to the Empire, planet Ziost is a state of chaos as innocent civilians are targeted by possessed pawns of the Sith Emperor. From menacing People's Tower in the city center to massive armored walkers, say that 3 times fast, patrolling for fresh targets, the Sith Emperor's presence is overwhelming. His power is growing with every death. Only you have the strength to stand against him. And also, just as a reminder, this is not the only podcast that we do in AIE. Star Wars The Old Republic has Star Wars The Old Republic Escape podcast. Usually it is hosted by AIE SEMA, Max the Gray, and Astromech EPC 88, and they're talking about the impending release of the upcoming patch. All right, and also there is a AIU segment that we get once in a while from the AIE folks in EVE, which we're going to be talking about right now. Hoots, tell us all about what's going on with AIE in EVE and what's going on with EVE.
All right. So I kind of took a step back and I was like, well, it's been, I think, about a month and a half, 2 months since I've last been on, and a couple things have changed. The regular 6-week release cycle is still a thing, so it's lots of content coming really quickly with rapid iteration. A lot of little things that I won't get into, but the game is definitely different, and we had a fan fest, I think, since I was last on, and there were a bunch of announcements at the fan fest, and then lately, though, kind of the universe has been gravitating and bracing for the June expansion. And we'll get to that in a little bit. Kind of the first item, though, that I wanted to talk about that I thought is really neat, especially for veterans. Ship skins, as a feature, have been released. So previously in EVE, if you had a spaceship, it was the spaceship. The color was the same. Last year, they kind of redid how the rendering of all the ships worked, and now they're able, the developer, CCP, they're able to get in and allow anyone to go in and customize their ship from like a bunch of pre-selected templates. It's not to the point yet, unfortunately, where you can have pink ship decals. I mean, that would be really great. The Hello Kitty logo on your ship someday.
No. It needs to be like all My Little Pony, because
right.
I know you guys, you are all really into it, so we need like the Rainbow Dash.
Is absolutely really into that. He wants like the Rainbow Dash logo on his ship. You can't quite have that yet. What I'm gonna do is
we need stickers. Come on, game, get with it.
In the show notes, I have a link to the dev blog, and there's actually a photograph of one of the ships. And you can actually spin it around and take a look at it. That's the Apocalypse, I think, one of the ship skins. But yeah, they released dozens of them. You can buy them for real money, or you can buy them for in-game currency. And once you buy them, they're permanent. They don't blow up with your ship, which is really great. So you can switch between ship skins at will in the interface. It's really well done. I know they were working out a kink as of a couple of days ago with you being able to apply a ship skin to any ship in the game, but that should be which is kind of a little amusing, but that should be sorted out pretty quickly.
So a question on that.
Yeah.
Is it It's tied to your account, so if you buy it, all your characters on that account can use it, right?
That's a good question. I know it's tied to the character. I think it's tied to the account. That is a fantastic question. I don't have facts in front of me. Once activated for a character, actually, I think they're tied to characters. Other characters on the same account will not have access to the skin, as read off this dev blog. So, no, you do have to buy individual skins for individual characters.
Okay.
It is not account-wide.
Gotcha. So they went from the Henry Ford model of you can have any color you want as long as it's black to now here have some variety, which is
cool. There are some really neat-looking avatars, which are a class of Titan. There's the gold avatar, which is I think the standard one, but now you can get it like all real sleek as a black Khanid avatar, and then I think there's a blue avatar too. So the Titans, the biggest ships in the game, look absolutely gorgeous with these ship skins, and then all the way on down to frigates have them. So it's been a real neat little feature that they just unveiled last week.
Very cool.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, I like that the dev team in the game is just so involved with the community. I mean, props to them for that. I mean, they made this giant sandbox of a game where you pretty much do have to make your own fun 90% of the time. And I like that they're taking steps to give you things to do. But it's really a unique game in that it's like, okay, here you go. Have fun.
So
we're going to give you new content and still update things, but for the majority of it, it's just have fun. Yeah. They're not so heavy-handed with things, you know what I'm saying?
Not at all. And actually that leads a little bit into the next link that I have. And underneath the ship skins released link that I have in the show notes, I also have this lovely YouTube video, and I have a bunch of them in the show notes, and they're all the latest The Scope videos put out by CCP. And if you get a chance and you're interested in the game, check them out. What The Scope is in the game is they're a news organization. And CCP has been releasing updates to their YouTube feed from newscasters in the scope, detailing both mechanics changes and kind of talking about them lore-wise and how they fit into the universe, but then more importantly, player run events and player events and player conflict. So there was a report on the Southern conflict between actually Brave and Pandemic Legion that came out a couple of weeks ago, which was our alliance versus one of the bigger, more veteran alliances in the game. And I've been really impressed with these videos, and they've been incorporating basically things that happen in the EVE community in these videos. If you look at the ticker, you'll see like individual players being called out for their contributions either to either EVE lore or speculation or tinfoil hattery conspiracy. There was a shout out to the god of wormholes, Bob, which is sort of a running joke in the wormhole community.
Right. The god of wormholes is named Bob.
His name is Bob.
I dig that. I really do dig that. That is so brilliant.
That's been a running joke in the wormhole community for the longest time, and CCP in their scope video called it out as like, oh, there are all these weird sightings happening and things are terrible in the universe. Wormholers think it's because of Bob. And everyone loved it. It was great.
Nice.
So that's definitely in the show notes. The Scope video feeds, check them out. They're amazing. The final feature that I really want to talk about from the latest release last week, it has been a long time coming. Your accounts are safe now. You can get two-factor authentication. Please.
Wow!
I know, like something that every MMO has done for the longest of time. And I'm not a programmer or a developer, and I know programming and development is hard, and that's why I'm not a programmer or a developer. But yeah, it's been a while, and I know there were changes that had to be made behind the scenes in order to get two-factor authentication to work, but it's here, and it works now, and you can use it, and the hacksaws will not steal your EVE account anymore. You should probably sign up for it if you like being secure.
Oh, nice. It uses the Google Authenticator,
Yes.
so you don't have to download yet another game-specific application you can just tie in, because I think, doesn't Guild Wars 2 also use the Google Authenticator?
I'm not sure, actually, because I don't play that one. I know Square Enix has a separate authenticator, so whenever my family sees me sitting at my computer and they don't see my neon pink phone near me, they run and catch it because they know sooner or later I'm going to be like, where's my phone? I need my authenticator again.
Yeah, I think it's Guild Wars 2 that uses the Google Authenticator as well, so... yeah, that's nice that they're not having to publish their own and they can just tie into something.
Yeah, absolutely. And God knows how many times I've deleted my Blizzard authenticator off of my phone or gotten a new phone and then had to be like, oh no, I'm locked out of my account. Now I have to mail in my driver's license and get it back, and it's terrible. Not quite. Well, something like that. I think the process has gotten better nowadays, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's really great that they're giving us all these they're like, wow, it's just a game, but the things you have on here are valuable, so we'll give you more tools to protect it, because we didn't ever expect our game stuff to be that valuable.
Right. So moving along, we're going to talk a little bit less about mechanics changes now, and since I was last here, we should really key up some Game of Thrones music, although HBO would probably send like a C&D against the...
Right.
While we're recording, just for mentioning it, man, NSA is on us, so we're just going to back away.
But yeah, I've got the Game of Sov updates since I was last here, and it's been nuts. I mentioned earlier in the show, kind of the EVE universe is aligning itself to the next release in June. And the release of something that everyone's come to call Fozzie Sov, which is, yes, like Fozzie Bear, but in this case...
Like Waka Waka?
Yeah, exactly, like that, except the developer that announced it, his name is CCP Fozzie. After presumably Fozzie Bear Waka Waka. Right. So the community latched onto that and said this mechanic change is officially Fozzie Sov, since he announced it and he's...
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so that's coming, I want to say, June 6th. No, it can't be June 6th. It's either June 9th or June 16th, probably June 9th, because it's a 6-week cycle. When that comes, and I may have mentioned this the last time I was on, but if I haven't, or if I have, regardless, to recap, formerly the mechanics of taking sovereignty nullsec and owning your own home in space were really tedious and involved grinding a lot of structures with a lot of hit points and mostly sitting there and playing another game while you play EVE. It was really terrible, and no one liked it, and everyone agreed that it needed to be changed. So in its place, it's morphing into a capture and control sort of almost mini game that doesn't involve structure hit points at all. And the ramifications of this are that you're going to need to live in denser, more populated pockets of space in order to hang on to those pockets of space. And the more active you are in those pockets of space, the more difficult it'll be for someone to take that space. So
because it's my space, and I will elbow you in the face. Yes.
Right. Yeah, and the theory and kind of the design guideline was that if you live in your space and you're active in it, it should be relatively difficult to take it. But if you're not active in your space and if you're not using it, it should be relatively easy to take it.
Yeah,
and that's
which makes sense.
Yeah, and I think everyone agrees with that end goal. So what happened is the entire universe went, oh my god, we have too much space, and we're not using it, and all the terrible things are going to happen. So every big player in the EVE universe basically went from sprawling empire to really tiny, compacted fortress of doom and death, like just all bunching up in their respective geographical areas. So the CFC, which is the Cluster Something Coalition, first of all renamed themselves to a family-friendly name. They are now the Imperium, which I don't know how I feel about. It's an interesting rebranding choice, and it definitely, kind of the people behind it, are definitely playing it up in both... it's deadly serious, because they really have renamed themselves the Imperium, and I'm pretty sure they're serious about it. But they're definitely being obnoxious about telling people they're the Imperium and that they're the evil empire of the universe, which I think might be fitting and kind of plays into their shtick. But they moved out of the north, or into the north. They're evacuating a bunch of their holdings in the west and are pulling up all north and are going to have like a Fortress of Doom up there. As the Imperium, as they consolidate, they basically, as a parting gift to some regions in the south, they basically murdered everyone living there and kicked all of them out of their homes. So the south and the west portions of Sov Nullsec are in a state of disarray and chaos. Another major coalition for people that follow EVE is called N3, and it's called N3 because at one point there were 3 alliances that started with the word N that were part of it, and now I think there are only 2, and it's confusing. But regardless, that other big coalition is a disorganized mess, and they're pulling out back to like the west of Eve. If I could do directions properly, the east of Eve. Another really...
Because in space, east is easy to figure out.
You know, there is a Sov map that you can look at. There is a map with, like, the regions on it, and you can, I think, up is north and down is south, and if you were to look at the map in 3D, it would not at all make sense, but fortunately...
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't make sense at all, but kind of we have that convention, and N3, there was this practice, and the CFC, now the Imperium, there was this practice in EVE where you could make a lot of money by capturing a lot of space and having really big ships defend that space, but then not use it and rent it out to people, basically like a landlord, like a really terrible feudal landlord. And that practice, it was called renting. And you would have these big organizations just gobble up massive amounts of space and then charge people the privilege of using it. Because of this change, pretty much all except I think one of the renter organizations in EVE have decided, no, we're not going to do this anymore. This is madness. It's not going to be practical. Come Sov. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out and to see if smaller groups can kind of exert their own will and establish a foothold in sovereignty, nullsec in EVE, and that's kind of what I'm paying attention to. So it's a real exciting time, as always. And and you know what? I have this last bullet point of a bunch of changes in the social dynamic and political sphere of EVE. Well, except for the Russians. The Russians are still being Russians. Who knows what they're doing?
They're playing a long game that you'll find out about in 5 years.
Exactly. Yeah, the Russians, and there is a very vibrant and powerful Russian community that tends to stick together because of language in EVE, and they're all very mysterious and no one ever knows what they're doing. Because of all this, we'll call it geopolitical upheaval, we got kicked out of our home. We used to live in a region of space called Catch. There was a group of big bad guys called Pandemic Legion that we held off for a while, but the mechanics of the game were kind of as such that they were able to press the win button every time in a fight by dropping what are called super capitals every time. And our scrappy group of underdogs in both AIE, but then in all the sister corporations in Brave Collective, we don't have super capitals coming. Like, those are really expensive ships that people who've been playing the game for years have. And I've been playing the game for 3 years, and I definitely don't have a super capital and don't really want one. So after a good couple of months of just slugging it out with Pandemic Legion, we finally lost our two kind of headquarters. We lost our first headquarters and retreated to our second headquarters, and then we lost our second headquarters and became homeless for a couple of weeks, which is, for AIE, we've been here before. Being homeless is kind of just part of the cycle of things.
It's kind of our thing, actually.
And it's
just from listening in, it's like suddenly we're homeless. It's like every few months.
And we're vagabonds. But AIE specifically, we were really well prepared because we've been here before, we've done this before, and oh no, I think no, everything's fine. I thought I may have just completely crashed the podcast, but I think we're good.
No, we're fine.
Okay, perfect. The things about us being homeless, we were really well prepared. The rest of Alliance is a little bit newer than us, and it was really interesting being in a slightly older corporation now, being able to sit back and kind of just pull out the popcorn and start eating popcorn as, like, all this chaos and disarray just appeared around us. So I'm really glad that things were stable and secure for us and our line members, and a little sympathetic to people who were a little less prepared. But
isn't that all you can do, though? Sometimes is
just sit back and
pull
enjoy
out the popcorn.
Yeah, and that was the past couple of weeks. That was exactly what happened. There was an attempted coup d'etat against the leader of Brave Newbies, and it was just a wonderful, chaotic, beautiful mess that I don't think you can't find it in any other game. It's just so fantastic, and I love every minute of it. But because we became homeless for a little bit, we kind of regathered our resources and repositioned ourselves, and with the CFC or the Imperium or with whatever they're called leaving to go all the way up north, we kind of approached them, not me, but like some of the Alliance diplomats in Brave Collective approached them and said, hey, you're not going to live in this region of space anymore. Can we move in? And they were like, yeah, sure. I don't know if there was money that changed hands or what the exact deal was, but we got a new home and didn't have to fight for it. And we're living in a region of space called Fountain now, which Tetsemi mentioned at the top of the hour is where we lived when I started playing this game 3 years ago.
Right? Yeah. I actually found the Eve mail, and it said 3 years and 4 months ago, Ralph removed me from AIEU, so I was inactive that long. But my ship is still in Fountain right now, so...
Yeah, so it's for us, for AIE in particular, we've basically come home. This is Fountain and Delve, which are two regions that are right next to one another, are our ancestral homelands. And for me, when I was first learning the game and first coming out, especially into 0-0 or null-sec space and leaving the comfort of high-sec, it's been kind of a homecoming, and it's really familiar. And there are these residents of people that live in a constellation called Phoenix, and they're referred to as the Fountain Core residents because they kind of live in the core region of Fountain, and they're still as mean and nasty as they were when we left. It really is a lot like coming back home, and and the space is a lot better than the space that we left, so it's actually like a really good win for everyone. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
You can go home again.
You can. It just sometimes takes like 3 years and the shifting of geopolitics.
Yep,
nice.
Exactly.
So that's kind of in broad strokes what we've been up to in EVE. Two other things that I totally forgot to put in the show notes that I wanted to call out.
Okay.
Every Wednesday night, we do a mining op with our high-sec campus. It's great success. It's run by Kuda Timberline and Eric Nolan in-game. I'm not going to give out the details of where that happens because not spies, but because I think Eric and Kuda might murder me if I do, because it's like exploding, and here's the thing, get them to murder me. I want more people to attend those mining ops, especially if you're looking to be in an area that's a little bit safer in EVE and do a little bit of mining and a little bit of industry and explore the crafting side of EVE. It's really complicated. I don't understand it at all, but it's been a smashing success, and they're growing really quickly and building a lot of ships and producing a lot of things and making money hand over fist, I hope. That's something I really wanted to shout out. The other thing I really wanted to call out that we just started doing a couple weeks ago, I was reading, I think it was the Star Wars, I think the AIE public forums, and they have a mandatory fun night, I think once a week or once every couple of weeks, and I shamelessly stole that. So going forward, EVE is having its mandatory fun nights every Saturday, and we're going to start at, I think it is 0100 server time, which means nothing to me, but I'm pretty sure that's 8 o'clock Central Time. And then, other than that, we go throughout the night. We do a variety of basically shooty activities, be it shooting at NPCs for money, or it sometimes devolves into we'll go and chase after, neutrals in space and blow them up. Well, I'm usually typing out in local, the fun is mandatory. Come have fun with us. You must have fun. Please have fun. I demand it. So that's
right. There you go.
Yeah. So attendance is the tagline, which is probably my favorite. Attendance is not mandatory, but fun is.
Nice.
I like it.
That's cute.
Yep, I like it very much.
So that's what we've been up to in EVE. Come join us. It's a blast.
Awesome.
It always is fun. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Hoots. All right. And with that, we're going to go and look at our question of the week from last time, which was 3 weeks ago. And that is, based on the Secret World, what is your favorite conspiracy theory? Ben Bumhofer, Al the Mage, replied, mine is that Magneto was behind the JFK assassination. He was trying to stop it. John Long, who is Arvichet, officer shaming. Is it real? Just an urban legend? Or the real reason for the Illuminati? Wednesday replied that epics in crates exist, and she's referring to salvage crates in WoW. And Wednesday, I have to tell you that yes, they do. Ashayo actually got a shield epic out of a crate that I now have, so they do exist. They're just very, very rare. And McCullough finally said her favorite conspiracy theory is that we faked the moon landing. Really, people? Really?
Really? Nobody mentioned the lizard people who are protecting the president at all times?
Right?
That's the real one, and it's kind of hilarious, so...
Okay, I'm going to interrupt, and this is because I volunteered to be on the show this week. I have a favorite conspiracy theory that is, unfortunately, it's a little bit of an in-joke with the EVE crowd, but the conspiracy theory is that I am really the Mittani. Or that anyone is really the Mittani, and he's the leader of the CFC. Unfortunately, as you can see here, my goatee is way better than his, and I'm wearing a blue and not a red shirt.
There you go.
Very
I
nice.
like that conspiracy theory. Very good.
That is a real fun one. All right, so our new question of the week is, what is your favorite real-life movie or video game spacecraft? Yes, what is the best craft for space trolling? I don't know.
It is clearly the Dominics from EVE Online.
There you go.
Space potato is best potato.
Not
It's because
space artichoke.
Because it looks like a potato, but you know.
And that's our show for tonight. While the chat room begins suggesting show titles, we want to thank Hoots for joining us.
It
Hoots.
is.
Yes, thank you very much.
No, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. You want to plug your websites and how to contact you?
Well, you can contact me on the Twitters at AIE Hoots. We do with myself, although I'm kind of a grand poobah now that sits back and runs the court. But every now and then I'll edit the show and I'll be on. There is a beautiful and wonderful podcast on capstable.net that'll answer all of your questions about EVE Online. And finally, there is a little something that might be coming up on May 7th this week on CCP's The '07 Show, which they stream from Twitch. So stay tuned for that. Big things afoot.
Awesome,
Very cool.
man. I look forward to it. Yay!
Yep. All right. If you have a question or comment about our show, you can email us at podcast@aie-guild.org. You can also follow us on Twitter. The show is at AIE Podcast. Aludra is at Aludra_AIE. McCullough is at Cyberwave. And Tetsemi is at Ivory Tiger. We record live with video every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can join the chat room and play along with us at our website, theaiepodcast.com. Our theme was composed by the amazing Andrew Allen. Follow him at Keys with Soul or visit his website, keyswithsoul.com.
Awesome stuff there. So, speaking of all that awesome stuff, we've got some AIE member segments that we received this week, including Ask Miss Mulgra, Overly Dramatic News. Stay tuned to hear them, because you know you want to. And next week, we'll be taking the week off, so me and Michaela can enjoy Mother's Day here in the U.S. We will return on the 17th with a guest so secret, we don't even know who it is yet. So until then, AIE, I'm Aludra.
I'm Tetsemi.
And this has been... Yeah, we all want to say the thing.
That's right. All right. Thank you guys very much. All right, so let's see if we can get some show titles in here.
What do we got?
Fozzie the Saw of Waka Waka.
That's pretty good.
I like that. Eve, the new way to make big rocks into small ones. Let's see.
Waka Waka. It's what Fozzie Bear used to say, Frodo.
Yep. Let's see, and I think, if I remember correctly, I figured out how to flip Slack teams. All right, there we go, because I thought I saw one in the Slack room. Nope, not yet. All right. I think Argus's is good. What do you think, Hoots?
I agree. I love it. It's great.
All right. We will grab that because, good Lord, when that shows up on iTunes, people are just going to wonder what the heck is going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love it.
All right. Well, thank you, chat room, as always. Thank you, Hoots. This was awesome.
It's
I'm
always
sure
a pleasure.
I have a million questions, so I will talk to you, probably pop into Mumble later or shoot you a question on Slack or two.
Absolutely. Yep. Never hesitate to ask a question because, oh God, this game, why?
I know, right? All right. Well, thank you guys very much. I'm going to go ahead and end
Bye, everyone.
the podcast. Bye, guys.
Bye.